Hey, Janet. Can you hear me? Nice. Whew. That's harsh. Not turn this light off. Better.
Thank you, Janet.
What?
Thanks, Janet.
Yes, I think you hear the TV.
See, easy. Where do you? Where do you? Done with you. Yes. All right. Where do you? Are you on, Nancy? Can you hear me, Janet? You get everybody muted? Hello? Hello, hello, hello? Janet?
I can hear.
All right, there you go. I can hear you now. Nancy, are you there?
Wait, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I have conquered my technical difficulties.
Hey, Andrew. Hey, Andrew, how you been, man?
Not too bad. How about you?
Oh, hunky dory over here,
Dream?
living the dream. So, yeah,
Was it a John Deere hat you're wearing?
it is.
Trying
It
to
is.
punch your redneck card?
I got yeah, well, it's my Sussex County slide around, outfit. I got my heavy shirt on. And the light over here is really, I mean, it's like, so you can't see because there's too much glare. How the boys?
Yeah, they're doing well.
Back in school?
Still school busy. Yeah, still going in person.
Good. Oh, that's really good. We had quiet. You must have had your hands busy with Ted gone for a while.
Back. He didn't step away too long.
Oh my God.
Back in it. I think he's still in a BPW meeting now.
I tried to write in for the I couldn't do that meeting on Lewis Beach, but I tried to write in for you guys. That was an interesting way to handle that problem, with sending out your questionnaire to everybody. Thought that was a good idea. Did you get a lot of responses?
I mean, they weren't coming directly to me. I think that they were done like through a web portal. So I haven't seen any directly, but
Oh, it was the portal is you would answer, there were like 15 questions, and for every question you had to submit that answer to that question, then come back, open it up again, open the next question, and submit that. It was kind of a tedious process. Maybe they'll, but I like the fact that you did it that way. It's cool. Hey, Carol. We will not be having Heidi tonight. She is in Utah.
I think Tahoe.
Tahoe. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tahoe. I knew it was out west and it didn't have a whole lot of letters in the name.
Yeah. I didn't think that was a great excuse, though. I mean,
She
it's only
was.
3:30 there, she can join.
Oh, come on. She needs well, never mind. It's all good. It's all good. We've been chatting.
Full disclosure, I'm actually at a hotel at BWI. We're flying out to San Juan first thing tomorrow morning. So I'm on vacation technically.
lucky you.
Hey,
Oh, can't wait. I totally forgot how to pack suitcases because we haven't gone anywhere in 2 years. So it's a whole new experience.
Oh,
Well, I don't know if Tony's making it. I haven't heard it.
It's currently 78 degrees in San Juan.
Yeah, that's not,
I can live with that.
I'm headed to West Palm next week.
Oh, you could come down and visit us.
Yeah, just hop on a boat, right?
all right. Well, it's a couple of minutes after. I haven't heard that Tony is not coming. I haven't
What
heard.
about the other Carol and
I'm here.
Carol's here.
Carol's here. What about Denise?
I don't know.
I thought I had seen her try to log in.
and Tony's back in the attendees.
Yeah. Can you promote Tony? There's Catherine Poole. And Vincent.
Janice, this is the third day in a row I've seen you. People are going to talk.
All right, here comes.
Here's Tony.
That's Tony.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm late. I was watching the video of the Parks and Rec meeting.
Well, we're going to be shorter than that.
Well, I didn't get a chance to listen to it all.
Well, it's 2.5 hours.
Well, I listened to your bit, Barry. That was the important bit.
All right, well, look, can somebody, I don't have my phone in here. Could somebody just send a little text to Denise? Are you
I'm
there?
doing it right now.
Carol, you are like amazing. You just like know what's happening before it
On it.
happens. You know why? It's because you don't take any vacations. You
Oh,
stay here with us and grind it out.
She's in as an attendee, and I'm trying to get her promoted again.
All right.
If you go in on the email that Anne-Marie sent that says panelist, then you shouldn't have to be promoted. So that's the key, I think.
I didn't get an email from Anne Marie this time.
Neither
Really?
did I. I didn't either.
Well, that's weird, but because I did.
I just
so-
went to the website for the.
Yeah, that's what I
agenda.
did. That's what I did too. I can't keep track. I get emails from a different person all the time. So I just went, it works. So Denise is here.
Yes.
She checks in, we'll go. Denise, you have to turn on your
Face.
Camera.
camera. All right, I hope. Good.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you turn on your camera? Lower
I-
left.
There we go.
All
I couldn't,
right.
I couldn't get in.
Okay.
Well, that's totally Janet's fault.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's get this thing on the road. I'd like to call the first meeting of 2022 of the City of Lewis Public Art Committee to order. We have everybody here except for
Heidi.
one person who's on vacation, Heidi. We have people on vacation that are here too. First order of business. Well, welcome everybody and welcome. We have some people in the chat room, Trina and Vincent, who helped us, and Catherine Poole is a new name. I don't know Thomas Noble. Catherine is going to, she might be able to be some assistance. She's got some technical background in the art world, and she's looking to see how we can help her. She was passed on to me by Heidi. She's home, and we're going to be talking in the future about things that she can help us with. But it's nice to have you out there, Catherine and Vincent. Thank you again for all your help last time. And we're going to be calling on you a little bit later. Okay, first thing I got is approval of minutes. Did everybody read these minutes?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
All right.
as
Any,
presented.
any comments, any conditions, any changes, anybody? Okay.
Mm-mm.
I should have gotten a second. Should have gotten a
Second
second.
that.
All right, on favor?
I, did
I
we second?
Yeah, we did.
I seconded.
Oh, okay.
Very quietly, I seconded.
All right. Now we come to the crux of the biscuit. We have updates by our project captains on the projects at hand. We have made some progress and we've had some stumbles.
Obstacles.
Yeah. So who wants to go first?
I'll go. I thought I was first on the agenda.
You're not.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You're E.
Oh,
So let's talk about these, the projects. The first one,
Cliff,
yes.
can I just ask if people are hearing,
Feedback?
yeah.
There's a background talking.
Somebody's got a television on or something. Can everybody look around, see if they have a TV on somewhere?
No.
I,
Oh,
No,
it's
I
It's
actually,
think-
echo.
it's a feedback of us.
it's a feedback of the committee meeting because it's also being live streamed on my camera. So
Well, just turn down the volume on your camera. It's your playback.
and I don't know how to fix that.
Just turn down the volume on your camera.
Or mute one of them maybe.
Button. Yeah, that's the wrong one. Okay. Yeah, but now we can't hear you, Janet.
Now we,
All right, let's go. Nancy's worked extremely hard. We've
yes,
exchanged many emails. There have been many small meetings. We had a meeting at the, Janice, Janet,
Yeah.
can you find a way to, all right, go ahead.
Okay, so since our December meeting, Cliff and I met with Bishop Jones, Trina Hicks Brown, and is it Denise at the Historical Society? We looked at some fabulous images, picked out a number of images, and sent those in a Dropbox in a couple different categories to the artist. Those are the images that she will choose from for the tiles at the bottom of the obelisks, for the silent monuments or absent monuments, and the screen prints onto the spheres, the rings of the spheres. So that was our first step. And at that same meeting, I think it was Trina or Bishop Jones came up with the possibility, because some of the images showed these places, having one of the obelisks at Johnny Walker Beach, the second one possibly at St. George AME Church. So after the new year, I met first with Carol and we brainstormed a bit. I also met with, or I sent some information off to Kay Carnahan, because the beach, Johnny Walker Beach is her purview. I also met on Sunday with Reverend McCafferty at St. George AME Church on Park Street. So we thought for the monuments that those might be possibilities for display. We kind of ran into some obstacles with both of those locations. With the church, the only obvious place to place the monument was sort of behind some bushes right at the edge of the parking lot. Not ideal. Wouldn't be able to see it from the street. You would be able to walk around it, but it would just be a little, I don't know, it wasn't a great spot. With the beach, I met with the Parks Committee on Monday night, and we discussed that, and actually kind of came up with a lot of reasons why it might not be a great idea. Kay Carnahan was concerned about DENREC permission, but we realized we really didn't need that as long as we weren't going past the dunes. But I walked over there yesterday, and it also was not a great spot. I mean, the idea was good. Both of those ideas were good, but physically in the space, logistically, really not so great. So now we have this new plan. So we're done with the beach idea. And I think we're done with the church idea. So that's okay. It's a process. We are now looking, and I actually got a response. Cliff, I got a response from Diana Beebe, who is a resident at Ship Carpenter Square. And what I'm trying to propose, and she's going to set up a call for me with Carrie Jones, who is the president of the HOA at Ship Carpenter Square. Diana thinks this is a great idea. the possibility, and it's, you know, it's not probable, but it's just something that maybe they could think about, of installing 2 of the obelisks at Ship Carpenter Square between the street and the gravel path. So not back on the green, not on the green common area, but closer to the street and across from St. George's Church. So you'd have this really lovely reflection of the whole thing. And I you know, there's a lot of traffic, pedestrian traffic in the area there. I don't know if they will let us do it or not.
Well, you know, it's public, that part of that is public property.
Is it? I wasn't sure if it's.
There's a fire hydrant there.
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean that? it's
Well,
on
there may
public
be a
pro-
public right of way, but
Right,
it
right.
may not be.
I mean,
But the plan is we're asking the HOA for permission.
Yeah.
yeah, it certainly would be nice to have their support for.
Oh,
any-
absolutely. I think it would really be such a nice spot. I think it would be good for them, be great for us. It'd be great for the city. We'll see, you know, maybe it'll
Well,
work.
especially because of the history of that piece of property too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's got such, there's such symmetry to the whole idea of putting them there. However, if that doesn't work, our plan B is to put the obelisks in George H.P. Smith Park, close to where the spheres will be. The spheres will be at kind of close to the corner of Johnson and DuPont, near the pollinator garden. So we would find a place, you know, in that same general area, and then all 4 would be together. Carol and I.
Just
Go
want
ahead.
to jump in on that location. This actually, this is Plan C.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear about Plan C.
I mean, Plan B is the HOA now. So we're on Plan C, but the idea
Okay.
would be, we would again have to talk to, and I did not get a call back from Ed when I talked to him today, but I don't anticipate it being a problem.
Yeah.
And we would.
I got the
arrange-
feeling that is it Harry and Ed that are,
Yes.
Right.
yeah, I think they'd be
And
fine.
they're big supporters. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention that has not been, we don't have that yet.
Right, okay. So
Could I
that, yeah, so that would be
just,
Plan C, C
make
for
one
Cliff.
comment, just to let you know what else is going on in that area by the pollinator garden. The city's applying for an urban and community forest grant to plant more trees in the area of the, it's not like right in front of the pollinator garden, but in that area. So we have a couple of flags staked out. We're meeting with the forester tomorrow. I don't think it will impact, but I just want the committee to be aware that that will be happening. We don't plant in the summer, we plant in the fall, so it should be okay, but just to keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Right.
we can work around that, certainly. The other thing that Carol and I discussed when we met is, and this is something we brought up with Reverend McCafferty and Tina Hicks Brown at the AAHC, am I getting those initials right, last week, of tying in maybe an oral history project and also some Juneteenth events to these particular sculptures. I love the idea of an oral history project, and this may be something that's already in the works, but there was a 60-minute story about StoryCorps a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, maybe we can get a sound guy or possibly a videographer to,
Well,
it was such a rich oral history that, anyway, that's neither here nor there, and it's not really related, but it was a cool idea.
1 hour meetings.
Okay, that's all I got.
That is an ongoing project, and of course, right now, we're still have to, I wanted to find out if you have talked to the artist lately.
Yeah.
How are you, does she have enough photographs to work from? Is that,
I'm gonna, I think I just need to call her directly. We traded a couple emails, and I would love to, I sent her, well, you sent her the 3 Dropbox things. And then I sent her the additional images that Trina had tagged on the Facebook site. I just downloaded those and sent those as well. So I think she has enough, but I'm going to check in with her and make sure.
Right.
And,
in my contact with her, she basically said she still reserves the right to go find her own stuff. She really needs to know the site before she
Okay.
can make a final decision. And then she's got the timeline of getting that stuff organized and put together. So we
Okay.
don't have a ton of time on this HOA. And if we can't, I mean, if we can't get that approval and
Yeah, if it's going to be months making a decision
the
about
approval,
approval, then we'll just,
I would say if we can't get the approval in like 45 days,
okay.
that will come to the park.
Can I ask
I
a
completely agree.
question about location?
I had a question when you, go ahead, Barry.
Has any thought been given to any spot on that huge piece of property that's called the Historical Society grounds?
Yes,
I mean, to me, that's a perfect place for it. And I don't know, it sounds like it's like hands off because of the net reel kind of thing.
well, I can tell you that I have had conferences with them more than once. It is a little bit tricky for two reasons. One is there's a fence around it and they don't want people climbing a fence if it's like in the corner.
No,
And
but it didn't have to.
And
be there.
number two, and more importantly, is because they have all their events where people are wandering around and which are very, very important to them. They don't want anything disrupting that. But it has been spoken and they're not against it. But in this project, we have just a few days left to pick our spot. So I don't think it's a good idea to open another chapter.
No, well, I guess-
We can go back to them next year. We did really want to have something like this up near where the wheel is, but we did talk about it, Mary.
Okay.
I have a question. You said the artist had other pictures that you wanted to get to.
Yes,
They're not the ones we sent?
she has, we sent pictures.
Yes.
She also has, and her process, she has her own process. She looks at archives in Dover. She will be, she knows everything that we intend, that we'd like to use local stuff and keep it a local celebration. But she also, is not going to be limited to that.
Okay.
Because she's the artist.
Right.
Right.
So,
Cliff, one of the things that came up in that Parks and Rec was Ed Tennyson. If you're communicating with Ed already, he mentioned that the bottom parts of those obelisks are hollow.
Yeah, they're weighted.
And you may be able to put weight inside of them to make them more secure. So
Absolutely.
he suggested maybe checking with the artist to see if that was something feasible.
Oh, yeah, that's actually part of the specs. She
Okay.
has written right into the specs that they have threaded rods that go, I think they're like 26 inches deep, but there's also the intention that the base is filled with whatever, some weight to stabilize it. And Ed thought that they could put probably like 500 pounds of something, which would make them a lot more secure.
but she's been using them. This isn't their first rodeo. So she's been using them for a long time. And I mean, not a long time, but a couple other places. So, but that's a really good point. And hopefully they'll, the screw things are sort of like big, they remind me of corkscrews.
Yeah.
Anything does this time of day. So, but that's a good point. So I'll bring that up with her, or we can bring it up to her, see what she wants to use, something easy to retrieve. All right, who's next? All right, we got I'll do Heidi's report. Heidi has had some contact with Vivian. We have a contract drawn up. We haven't sent it to her because of the problem with locations, and I'll circle back to that. But one thing we should try to do is not call those things trees. They're squirts. They are all known. And if you think of it as a squirt, it's actually a lot more interesting sculpture. So, I think that we're on task. I mean, everything's pretty cool. And the location will be determined later on, but we are doing the 3 and everything's going pretty well. And she basically hasn't finished. So there was a question raised earlier about coordinating all of the install times. I'm not going to worry about that because it's these artists, neither one of the 2 artists that I'm going to talk about are totally locked down, crazy busy. So they will be flexible, and we can hopefully be flexible with temperature and weather and a few other things, but everything should be ready, you know, by mid-May. So are there any questions about them, the 3 trees?
Do
Jen?
we know what color they are now?
They're the same color they were before, and I don't remember what it is. Is it
Well,
magenta?
pink and blue and
Oh, no, we don't. Well, it's on the, when we got that email from,
I think we only have one picture of a pink one.
It's not a pink one. What color is magenta? You know, I'm colorblind.
No, it's a
That's sort of
purplish.
pink.
I think they're magenta.
But they're not all the
We don't have
same
a choice
color.
because whatever color they are is what we're getting, because it's.
Okay, doesn't matter.
And we're gonna go ahead and do with the thing. So we're gonna have the 3 discs flipped over to store.
Cliff, did I hear you correctly that they're not going at Canal Front Park?
No. I said I don't know exactly where they're going.
Oh,
And then I circle back to that later.
oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, the next question is the Letha Wilson piece. You want to talk about that, Barry, or you want me to take it? You're the captain.
Well, yeah, we're still waiting to find out whether we can use the site over next to the Children's Learning Garden, which is right on the Del Dot portion of the bike trail. So basically at King Street, King Highway, and the park. So we're waiting on Del Dot to find out if we get that, we should be in good shape, and we won't have to worry about readjusting where we're going to put some of the others. I mean, that's kind of
Okay.
where we are.
Well, I've talked to the artist, and she's gone, oh, there's been a slight change. She's going to bring it down directly from a different storage location, which doesn't really affect us, except for it's going to be coming direct, and there won't be an intermediary stop, which actually makes it easier. And but I don't think she's going to, whether it's going to cost her more money to get it here, which could be an issue. I don't think so, but it could be. The problem, this is where I was going to get back to you, Janet. I mean, what did you find out, since we've been asking for this permission for a couple of months, you know, it seems. Do you have any
Well,
answer?
we sent the information on the piece over to Del Dot, and they said that they would review it and get it back to us. So I think we just got the information that, you know, within the last month. So it's in their hands, and we're monitoring it, and we'll let the committee know when we get a response.
Well, can we needle them, please? Because I mean, our time frame and their time frame may not coincide. And I know we held up on this because you're putting together a great big package, but
Pardon?
you were trying to include this with approvals about the train station.
Trains and all that stuff. Yeah.
No, I wasn't trying to, they're 2 separate projects. I wasn't doing that at all. I was-
Okay, well, good. Well, then that's not gonna hold it up, which I thought it was. I
No, the
do
only
think that
mention
we
of the
have-
train project was so that the committee knew what else was going on in that area.
Okay, well, we are in a, I think because of our situation, we probably don't have, I mean, we're really limited and we can't just wait for them to come back. So if we can get an answer within, I'd like to put it this way. If we can get an answer, approval from them within 30 days, we'll go with that site. If not, we're gonna have to plan on a different site. And because I don't want to get this thing all
There's
backed
no
up.
reason why we shouldn't be able to find out in that time frame, right?
No, I would say,
I mean, I think that's reasonable.
I mean, if we call them and get after them, yeah. I mean, if we just wait, we probably won't. So, Janet, do you think you can, be a stickler for getting an answer?
It's probably Anne Marie that's going to be the stickler, but whatever.
Pardon, Barry? Excuse me?
I mean, I don't know who's communicating with her, how.
Yeah, it was sort of taken out of our hands. I asked to contact them because, I will go after them. And the city thought maybe they wanted to keep me away from these people because they need other favors from them. I'm not saying that's.
No, there
not-
just needed to be a coordinated effort in terms of communicating with the state.
On all of the projects, and the reason why that decision was made was so that there is one point of contact with the city.
Right.
So they will follow up.
Okay, and then because I showed this to Ted and on Tuesday, and he really thought it was a great location. But if we can't do it, that's okay. What I'm concerned about is I really want to have this piece of art. It's a really great piece of art. It's probably, I think, the lead piece for the summer.
And I think that's a perfect spot for it because of the exposure on the bike trail. There's a lot of activity there with the concerts. The library's there, so there's parking. So it really is a great spot.
So if
We'll see.
if it can't be approved by our next meeting, we're gonna have to make some adjustments. That's all I'm gonna say. The next thing, so that's all three. So basically everything's supposed to be available between 8 and everything should be installed before Memorial Day, all three projects. And so that's an ongoing, I mean, we're sort of locked down and we're tied up for 2 different locations. So I think that between, once we get the HOA approval or disapproval, just like it's easy if they can't approve the thing out at the state park, out at Johnny Walker Park, I mean, that's great. The answer is no is a good answer. We just need answers. I mean, we can move on.
Right.
The idea that we're gonna table it and get back to you and all that kind of stuff is just, we can't, we're too much of a tight time frame to get this stuff up in 3 months. It's gotta be up. So the next thing about is on the list is, does anybody else have anything about the 3 sculptures? Tony, you've been quiet. No, all right.
I'm ready to do my bit when it comes to Art in Bloom.
Okay, Denise, you're next.
Okay, I have a contact in Sea Waves Quilt Guild, which is one of the larger quilt guilds around here. They have shows at Sussex Tech or, anyway, I asked for the name of someone I should contact, and I got the name of Lana Powell. And I have contacted her. I sent her the link to the Broder website, and I've asked her to get back to me. She preferred to be contacted by email, which is what I did. And when I haven't heard back, I did call her today and I left a message. So I don't know whether it's under consideration, or I hope it is. I haven't heard back from her.
Well, I would, I think all we really want to do before they get into consider is just basically somehow just get a meeting with them and like over coffee some morning with her.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I don't really want to, we don't have anything to propose. We just need to find out if we can get them interested. And that would be great if we could. And then we probably wouldn't have a serious meeting with them until after these sculptures are in, because
I copied you on my email. I just asked if she thought there would be interest in working with us on a project. It was fairly big.
yeah, I just want to try and get an invitation so we can sit down and talk before we need a response, other than just, can we sit down? So, because it's hard to tell what that is just from the website.
Well, what you're proposing is an idea for
Yeah,
them to consider.
yeah.
So,
And by looking at the website, they see, you know, we're not looking for a table runner. We're looking for a larger idea. So my hope was she would, you know, bounce it to whatever committee or whatever to consider and get back to me and say, yes, there's interest. And then I could say, how about meeting with Cliff and myself to discuss this.
and what's the deal? Because I have a contact in my neighborhood, actually one of my neighbors, that I think is big in that group. And what is it called?
So what is the name of your group?
Sea Waves Quilt Guild. There are a number of quilt guilds around here, but I think all of the members of the different ones kind of know each other and share information, but they are local. There are a number of Lewis people in
Yeah,
it, so that's why I chose them.
no, that's fine.
Good, good. All right, Lima Powell, we're coming to get you. All right, Tony, you're up.
Hang on. There we go. Now, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Art in Bloom has done its first Trompe l'oeil piece of art on the side of Kindle. It's a faux window. It looks as though you're looking into Kindle itself. And so we hope that that will be not just the first one, but the first of several. And we're working on that. The train station, which has already come up for discussion, as far as I'm aware, all the I's have been dotted, all the T's have been crossed, and it is going to go ahead. Shell Brothers are going to build it, and we hope it'll start in the spring. But they're obviously incredibly busy at the moment, so it's really down to them as to when it can start. And since it was mentioned by Barry at Parks and Rec, we continue to work on the idea of bringing Cape Spirit to Lewis. And that's all I'm about to say on that particular subject.
Okay. Does the train station thing, does that include the trains, the train cars?
No, it's a completely separate project on the other side of the bike path.
Okay, so the train
It's a
station.
building, it's a
Cover
further train
the-
station, if you like.
There's a
The
generator
design
there.
is as of the old train station
Right.
in Lewis, and it's meant to cover up the mechanicals that are at the back of the library.
So it'll be, so that'll be up the road towards the Sentinels more than where we are, quite a bit. 'Cause-
Mm,
It's directly behind the library.
It's right next to the, right off the bike trail.
Okay,
There,
that's got to be 150 yards from where we are.
building a temporary bike trail on the other side of the tracks so that they can maintain safety while they're doing the construction.
Okay. And there's no dates on that at this point, just springtime, maybe.
Springtime, we hope.
Okay. And then I just would like to say that I really hope that you bring Cape Spirit to the committee soon. You know, the longer you go down that path of you know, telling everybody else about it, you end up getting yourself in a less room for a dialogue, which I hope we can have soon. And is there a reason that you don't want to bring it up to the committee?
Well, as far as dialogue is concerned, Cliff, I would remind you that you were briefed initially about Cape Spirit, and when we asked you whether you, and by you I mean PAC, would help to choose a spot for it, you said absolutely not.
No, I think that what we said was come to the meeting.
No,
But
that's not what you said.
Well, okay, for whatever. The question
Well, the
is,
point is, it has not officially been brought to.
Correct.
the PAC meeting. And I
that's
think there's
absolutely
concern
right.
that there's all kinds of activity that's going on, and there's been no involvement with the Public Art Committee, and you know, people are asking me questions about it, and
That's good.
I have no answers because we haven't officially
Right.
heard about the project.
That's absolutely correct. And I have been advised that we should take it to Parks and Rec before we bring it to PAC.
Well, that's not the way the process works, though.
Janet, would you like to jump in on that, Janet?
Well, I think that I'm going to review the policy, and I will circle back on that because the policies have changed. So I will circle back on that and have a discussion.
The other thing I would add is that we are not intending to bring it to either PAC or Parks and Rec until we can do it face to face, because we cannot make the presentation on Zoom.
You choose not to. You can't.
No, we cannot.
It's okay, it's okay, it's all right. It definitely is a lot better if we're all in the same room, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Good point.
Especially
So-
if there's a PowerPoint presentation or a video,
Oh, sure.
whatever, which
So I think
there will be.
Good, and I think it would be nice to, when you do decide to bring it to us, to, you know, send the information so we can prepare questions and we can be ready for you. Because we want to try and do this in a meeting or two, like we did the mosaics in 2 meetings, and I just think the more you can involve us beforehand, the more the easier it is to guide the dialogue into a constructive manner. And because I do want to avoid trying to have this being any kind of a conflict, when it's really supposed to be all about a learning experience, and we're all supposed to learn and grow from what we each have to share. So I don't look at this sharing as being such a negative deal. I think that I would take exception to your comment that we would pick a place, because that's just not how it would work. So
We asked you if you would help pick a place, and you said no.
well, I think what we asked was you should make a presentation, and that's what we
No, this was long before all that happened, Cliff.
okay.
Well, there's no point in going into all that. I mean,
Right.
So anyway, we need to talk about it, Tony, and we really want to talk about it sooner rather than later, because
I hear you.
it's going to work better for everybody.
right.
Okay, next. Got 2 more things. One I want to bring up. Is Vincent here? Vincent's a panelist, attendee right now, and Vincent came to our meeting last time and spoke up, if you remember, and talked about the possibility of creating an art wall. And we asked him to do a little digging on it, and I believe he has. And I'd like to bring him into the meeting if we can. And Vincent, I told you you would have your time, and this is it, man. And thank you very much for helping me. He went out and he scanned a bunch of these photographs for the other project, and he was very helpful. And
Hi, Vincent Gruskevich, Lewis, Delaware. I came across a thing called artonthezoofence.com. That's the site for it. It's in Honolulu, and they have a regular weekly gallery, outdoor gallery event that's non-juried, and it's just hung on the fence, and it's gotten to be very, very popular. They've been doing it since the 60s. And I was interested in seeing if there was something that we could do in the Lewis area, since there's very little available to people who are not in, let's say, the Rehoboth Art League to be able to display their work. Now, I started looking around for places where it could possibly be established. And I was looking over at WB Park, the Smith Park, where the farmers market is, but I'm afraid that that area gets too much traffic. And I think that the historic farmers market is probably a formidable place, and they wouldn't necessarily want anyone else involved there. However, the one or two other places down at Canal Front Park, the tennis courts, right where you come into that first parking lot, would be an interesting place to do it. One of the things I was wondering about, and this is always an issue here, is if you're having something during the daytime, would it require tents because of the amount of sun? I do some volunteer work at the farmers market here on Wednesday at Crooked Hammock, and I know what it's like to be out there. The other spot that would work down at Canal Front Park is there's that little arbor area with the wooden backing. Would be an interesting place to have it. It has shade. It's right as you're coming in from the hotel, where the chess pieces are. It would be an interesting place to do it. The website for the art on the zoo fence has an idea of what kind of strictures and rules would be needed. I also think that down at Canal Front area would be good. And first of all, you could do it in terms of timing, and there's a lot of foot traffic, people coming down around there. If it is indeed a workable thing, I don't see where it would require a whole lot of financing. The thing that's critical is to have people who are involved who would make sure that it goes through. I was involved in Artomatic in DC, which was an artist related thing, and everybody had a task. And I think it would be a good opportunity if it's feasible. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Vincent. Can we talked about this last time, just very briefly. Does anybody have any feedback they want to share on it, on this idea?
I love the idea.
Good. Nancy?
Vincent, I have a question. Is this kind of like a one-day kind of a periodic things where the artists bring their works to the fence and they're just hung there for a day?
Just
Because,
for a day.
yeah, okay, so it's kind of a.
It's going to be a specific day and time.
Okay, got it. And then, and there's sort of, as you said, kind of a structure of what would be accepted. So it would sort of be juried in a way, if somebody came
Well,
up with something really shocking that wasn't maybe family friendly, we wouldn't necessarily want to hang that out of a fence. Is that what you meant by?
Yeah, I wouldn't
yeah.
consider that juried. I would consider keeping it family friendly. That just, from my experience at Artomatic, there were probably some things that didn't deserve to be in a family friendly location.
Right, got it. Okay, that's my only question.
How many artists in a community this size would you estimate would show up for an event like this?
I have no idea, but it's always the way it's done at the other location. It's a first come, first serve. And if you don't show up, you lose your spot.
So you'd end up like figuring out that we're going to have 75 or 100 feet of fencing somewhere to hang art on, and when it's full, it's full.
Right, and you just delineate. You got there with a tape and a little piece of the surveyor's tape to designate some people's spot.
Okay, that's very, it's really doable. Go ahead. I'm Carol. You can't see who I'm pointing at, can you?
I like the idea too. I envision this as sort of a clothesline exhibit. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I could see this on Savannah Road near the Swannondale Park.
That's true too.
And we have so many things that we're putting in Canal Front Park that I think it would be nice to move some interest to other parts of town.
Very good idea.
That would be fine if the only thing is, I don't believe there's anything there
To hang.
to hang on.
Well, you could do like clothes props or something. I mean, I participated in many vigils along that stretch of street.
Right.
And it's kind of a good place for people to see.
So Vincent, if somebody wanted to put up like a snow fence, and we just had that, would that work?
Yes, I thought about a temporary fence, but I just wanted it, I was concerned about the logistics.
Well,
In fact, Janet, the city probably has some snow fences. The streets department probably has some.
Yeah.
Dunes,
do.
yeah. Well, that would be interesting. I'm gonna like hold this thought just for a second and circle back to it, because one of the other things that we talked about that we were discussing last time was our education component, and we talked about having an education day or a get together like once a month around these sculptures. There's no reason we all, part of it is like we talked about like to have the first Fridays is like the art night or something. It seems that this would be really ideal to tie into an event that we're going to use that people could do that and at the same time go out and hear somebody speak at one of at the sculptures that we're going to put up. So, I mean, I think that kind of gives a little boost to the mass, and it also makes it easier to promote, Vincent, because you don't have to promote it by itself, but we promote it in conjunction with something else.
Right.
Go ahead. Tony.
I wasn't in at the beginning of all this, which I guess was at the last meeting, but is the whole idea of this that the paintings would be for sale?
Yeah.
Because that puts a whole nother set of issues in front of us, I believe.
wouldn't be sales tax.
You're in Delaware.
What are those issues, Tony?
Well, for instance, who's going to take the money?
The artist
And
would,
does every artist have to be there with their
Yes,
piece of
every
artwork?
artist has to be there. That's required.
Okay, so, you know, if you had 100 foot of fencing and you may have 50 pieces of art, or 25 pieces of art, you've got 25 people gathered there as well. I'm not sure how workable that is. I mean, I like the idea, but I'm just playing devil's advocate, I guess.
Well, it's been done other places.
right, Vincent, do you think you could get us the, if moving this forward, and I'd like to move it forward, does everybody want to move this forward?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see if you could find like rules and regulations from one of these places and email it
It's-
to me and I could share that with
Yeah.
him?
Guidelines.
The art on the art on the zoofence.com, they have a rules tab. And you can see how they set it up. They're a little more,
All right, what's it called?
literally structured.
Artonthefence.com.
Art on the
Zoo
zoo fence.
Roof fence.
One person, Art on the Fence?
Art
Zoo
on the
fence.
zoo fence
Art on the Zoo Fence. On the
.com.
Zoo Fence.com. Well, Barry is our secretary and he's going to be in Florida. So I'm going to make, Barry, will you look that up and send us a copy while you're down there?
I'd be
I
happy to. I'm writing it down right now.
And I hope you're listening, Catherine Poole, because this is something might be something we can,
Well, one of the rules that they have on there I already see is, which is kind of what Tony was hitting on, and it's an easy workaround. It says that you do need a permit from the Parks and Rec Department. So you
Yeah.
get a permit and away you go. Yeah.
all right. Well, good. You think this is a good idea, Andrew? It's good for the city, I think.
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest to Vince too. I've been pitching this idea of that new Lewis Brewery location that's coming in there. They have a plan to put a split rail fence along the trail. So there's a trail that runs along there, and you know, I don't think that's going to come in the next 6 months or anything, but that could be a good future location also.
Mhm.
You know, their patrons could take a look at the art, and it could be right there at the fence line.
I was also thinking about there's sort of a patio area in the back of the Lewis Museum in Stango Park.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that might lend itself
Yeah,
well
you could-
too, because there are restrooms that are accessible. There is some,
Right.
not everything is just in the sun. And it's a little closer to the.
And we could tie that also to one of the concert series that the city does there, you know,
But I
have it
think
show
you
up the
can
same
also
thing.
string a line fairly easily
Right.
in there.
Okay, let's discuss this further next meeting. Anybody, I
I
think
mean, another option is to maybe coordinate it with because I think part of the idea with the train fence is or the train station, it was going to have rotating art there. Is that right, Tony? I think one of the sides was going to have, so maybe at the launch of that, would be a good event.
Yeah, well,
We haven't
we'll
got as far as whether the art, if there's going to be art, is going to be rotating or not.
Okay.
and I
We're
think
waiting for the station to be built first.
Yeah, one thing at a time. I'm gonna make a list of all these options that we just came up with, and we're also gonna pass around the art on the thing, and we have to think about what we could coordinate it with to make it a combined event. Now, has anybody given any more thought to this idea of how we're going to spread the teaching assignment and trying, we're still looking for somebody to develop an educational program that can lead it on just having really simple art discussions. Did anybody come up with anything on that while we're in the last month? Because we don't have to do it today, but it really has to be on our agenda because that was one of the, at the meeting that we had in September or November or whenever. That was one of the things that people wanted to be have a more involvement to be able to, be introduced a little more to the art that we're putting up there. So we got.
Is there anybody in the school district?
I don't know. Is there?
I mean, they have an art program, I assume.
Yeah, we should involve the school.
And ask somebody if wants to do it. Go ahead, Nancy.
My across the street neighbor has a connection with the Cape Henlopen head of the art department there, and that's certainly somebody we could. Actually, this is something that
you want to
occurred
talk
me,
to
and I just forgot about it. Maybe we could speak with him or her and get student docents. Have them take turns coming out. Maybe on a Friday afternoon or something, standing near each of the sculptures and just being available to, give a spiel or answer questions. We would train them or teach them up, or the artists themselves could teach them how to speak about the sculptures. So maybe that would be, and maybe that would be something they might even be able to get credit for. I don't know how high schools work anymore. It's been a while, but
Well,
I mean, I don't know.
I'm going to refer back to the one step at a time on that.
Okay. I do tend to jump ahead.
We've had some contact with Cape, and it's been some more successful than others. And I don't know who the person is, but I believe that Carol is going to contact to find out who this teacher is. And so we can have a conference with them and see if they want
That's
to.
what happens when you open your mouth. Right?
Well, I think that would be great. And I'm not sure how much that we need them to handle. I'm more worried. I think part of me is getting involved is like having somebody assigned to be there and how we promote it. And I think the body itself is not our biggest problem. Go ahead, Tony.
If we did go ahead with this, I'm thinking that maybe it would be a good idea, and once a month or every other month or whatever, to have one day where it was actually high school students' art.
Oh,
Maybe.
And that would involve the students then.
Oh, yeah.
Well, down the road.
Overall, good
We have to
idea.
decide if we're going to do it at all first. And I think that
Yeah.
I like the idea of supporting the local artists that are actually trying to make a buck out there. But
I guess the one thing we will need to look at, because the question has come up also in the Q&A, is around the sale, whether we can have commerce, to what extent that's allowed. Jan, it's probably good to look at the policy there.
Generally, they have to have a City of Lewis business license. But I
How does
think
St. Peter's
we
do it?
can look at it.
We already have, how does St. Peter's do it?
do they have a business license at St. Peter's?
I don't think so.
Well, we'll
That's what I'm saying. We just need to look into how this can be
Right.
accommodated.
Yeah.
It's not a no, it's just an obstacle.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I thought you were going to bring up, Tony, on the, but we don't have sales tax, so. All right, that would be good. Janet, can you give us an answer on that next time? I would appreciate it. And if there's anything else that's going to stop us from doing that, you would be the one to know. Somebody's got to read the rules. I'm glad she does. Anything else? I'm sorry, it was like 2 minutes. Well, we started 3 minutes late, so we're not, we're still in our hour. Do you have anything from the attendees? Anybody have a
Question?
I don't see anything, so I guess could we get a motion to adjourn?
I so motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Bienvenidos, Nancy.
Enjoy your vacation, everybody.
Have
We're still under an
Muchas
hour. We
gracias,
did it.
Carol.
58 minutes.
Vaya con Dios.
All right, thanks a lot. Okay.
Bye.